So we're not live, so we can start whenever we start. So we are starting. We have a quorum. Well, Karen, can you call roll?
I can. You have Jay Fundling, Elaine Craighead, James Dassley, Lorraine D., Larry Johnson, Andrew Coe, Julia Maxwell is on Zoom, Brian McGuire, Lee Michael McLean is on Zoom. You have Nicholas Tangney and Cecile Yang. You have a quorum.
Okay, great. Welcome everyone to the Warrant Committee meeting. It's September 24th. We've got a couple of news items to start out the night. First of all, one of the articles on the fall town meeting was going to be a sign bylaw. On Monday night, the planning board pulled that back, proposing to instead bring it forward at the following town meeting. So that is not going to be on the warrant for this town meeting, so it's not something we have to discuss. Oh, another thing. Did you tell everyone what Wi-Fi to get on? If you're in the room.
Sorry, it's the meeting house, not the public Wi-Fi. Meeting house _ public.
Yeah, otherwise you might be trying to connect to Milton Town Hall, which is not nearly as strong as Meeting House, which is where we are. One other thing I want to bring up to the group, I don't know if we have to act on it. I was discussing with one of the members about somehow, to be determined, hopefully in the near future, sharing publicly summaries of the meetings, sort of like a just the facts thing, like we met this day and here's a timestamp of here we discussed Article 1, here's a timestamp of here we discussed Article 2, like that. And then even in the lead up to town meeting, share sort of the opposite. Like if you're interested in Article 1, look at this meeting at this timestamp and that meeting at that timestamp, so people can see when we discuss different issues. Still trying to work out the logistics of when and how that would happen, but I want, unless there's a general uprising against that, I think that's a good thing to share with the town. And you know, I might want someone who's more tech savvy than me to help me figure out how to share it. I was talking with Shane from MATV just a minute ago, and might be easier than I thought, but somehow, whether it's a Warrant Committee Facebook account that doesn't say anything controversial, just says, here's what we did at this meetings, somehow a way to share with the town, here's what we discussed, here's an easy way to see our discussions of these articles. Thoughts, questions, comments?
So, isn't that what the minutes are for?
This sounds a lot, the minutes can function as that,
Yeah.
but I can certainly imagine a lot of town meeting members who wanna know, oh, what did the Warrant Committee say about Article 7? Oh, you click on this video and go to this timestamp, and click on that video and go to that timestamp.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't
Yeah, the more information, the better.
know how many people would use it. What else? Comments. I asked people for comments. I got comments from two groups, or one group covering two articles. Let me share that if I can. Share my screen. I apologize for not sharing them beforehand. We're working with the town to figure out a way to share it on sort of like a public bulletin board. It's like what the select board does before their meetings. They post what they're gonna talk about before their meetings. It's public, nothing's private. And that was Nick Milano's suggestion for how to share things among this group that's not breaking open meeting laws, because anyone can see it. I haven't figured that out yet.
Just do like a Google Doc or that's shared?
Yeah, we want something that literally anybody can look at, so that it's not. We've got the website set up, I just don't know how to use it yet. So I will share my screen. You know, if I share my screen briefly, then it's officially in the record and I can email it to all of you. Share request, sharing's not turned. Karen, it says sharing's not turned on. Karen? Here we go.
All set?
Yes, draft comment for Article 1. I'll share this. Can you see it behind me? What I want to do for comments this year is send it out to everybody. So everybody, not that we're gonna have 15 different editors on every comment or any comment, but just so everybody can sort of look at it and say, yep, that's pretty much what we talked about, or no, you made a big mistake, this is not what we talked about, or here's something to add. I think it'll run through me, Julia, and Macy, will be compiling them at the end, but I want everybody to have the option to see this and to see my comment at the beginning, which is, hey, town, here's the general report, signed the warrant committee. I want those all to be before everybody, before they get printed. So I've shared this in a public meeting, now I can email it to you, similar with share comment for Article 2, share. Yeah, I'm not gonna ask you to read them and comment on them now, but I'll send it around and we can comment through email. So that's a little bit of business. I apologize I didn't get out before this meeting. One other bit of business, I would like to apologize. I think the subcommittee thing, experts thing, I think that's been working really well. I was told by several people that I was stepping on their toes because I was reaching out to people about things I was interested in, and sometimes I would copy them, sometimes I wouldn't. And, you know, they were legitimately asking, people are gonna be asking me, who's in charge? I thought you were in charge, and then Jay is contacting. I apologize to anybody I did that to. Since then, I've tried to work more proactively with people in various committees, say, I'd like to reach out, what can I do? I did say from the beginning, we're having experts. That doesn't prevent any other member from any other, all 15 of us are on the warrant committee. It doesn't prevent anybody else from digging into something. But yeah, I wasn't good about going through the experts. I apologize. If somebody wants to speak to this, you're free to. Still working it out. Okay.
Can I ask, when are the comments due? What date?
Let's see, going to print on the 3rd, I believe. But so we've got a meeting today and a meeting on Monday. If I can predict the future, I hope we get everything but one done today. I hope we get the final one done on Monday. So then Monday would also be a good time to chat about comments.
Okay, so they're not gonna be due yet.
They're not due yet. I would like them by Monday. There's a long way of saying I'd like them by Monday. If you can't quite get them by Monday, it's not the end of the world. And as always, you can't do something.
We should try to have them earlier though, right? Just so we can review them before the meeting or.
Yeah, so when I say Monday, I mean Sunday. Yeah. Well, by Monday, it's before Monday, maybe. So I think we can move right on to our business. We have, by my count, 4 outstanding articles that we have not acted upon. I'll call them, well, the first 2, I think there are 2 that I think won't take very long tonight. One that I think will take more time tonight, but we might wrap it up. Another one will take more time tonight, and I don't think we will wrap it up. So can I ask the people that worked on the traffic bylaw to speak to that? Julia is remote, James Lee is here.
Yeah, you're talking about the traffic mitigation one?
Yes, thank you.
Julia, you want to take it?
Yeah. I feel like I'm breaking, or at least you guys are breaking up a bit for me, so let me know if I become, my connection becomes problematic.
You sound good so far.
Okay, so James Lee and I worked on, okay, great. I have a little bit of a delay. It's becoming clear, which is fine. James Lee and I worked on this one together, and we we dove deep to sort of realize that we probably didn't need to dive that deep, and so hopefully you all don't have to. We ended up being pointed in the direction of Cheryl Tagayas, who's a planning board member, and we met with her and were able to speak with her about this one. Long story short, this is this bylaw already exists, so these are amendments that the main purpose is to incorporate building, sorry, I'm trying to pull up my, there we go. So the way it was written originally,
Would you like me to share my screen,
Building-
Julia?
business districts, excuse me. I finally was able to pull up what I've been trying to.
Are you gonna share the article or would you like me to?
Oh, no, actually, yeah, Jay, if you wouldn't mind, sorry. Yes, please.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I finally got it. So the way that it was written, originally, there was an oversight where business districts were not included in this. So they were not subject to traffic impact mitigation based on the size of the project or any of the other criteria that are in the article already. So part of the purpose of this article is to correct that original oversight and make sure that we are including business districts. And then the other part of it was to change some of the language to ensure that now whether people, things are getting built via as of right or special permits, or it's basically incorporating, all the changes that were made to the site plan article in, gosh, what was that? Was that the annual town meeting?
May.
Last May, or it was June, I can't remember. So yeah, it's basically, like I said, closing that oversight and then ensuring that whether people are have special permits or are building as of right, that they will be subject to the criteria of when you need to incorporate traffic, the traffic mitigation, like analysis into your plans. Jamesley, anything to add?
That covers it.
Questions, comments, concerns?
Go ahead.
I guess I'll just sort of add, my understanding is when it was first written, it said, all right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna, add business district any place that's needed. We're gonna replace the word inhabitants with residents. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, to sort of make it clear what was changed. And my understanding is that our new town council said, yeah, I see what you're doing there, guys, but no, you just need to do the whole thing and show the additions and subtractions. So that's why it looks sort of funny, but in the initial version, at least we could see easily see what was being added or subtracted. Brian had a question, someone else?
Well, that's my question, is what's changed from this versus the previous one? Like, what are the highlights, I guess?
Julia, can you speak to that? Julia or Jamesley?
Yeah, I mean, what's helpful is that this is it's redlined, so you can see for yourself, but those are the two primary, those were our primary takeaways. I think me and Jamesley was that it was incorporating the business districts, and it was incorporating the fact that people could be coming at this with having a special permit or having site plan approval, which with ADUs and MBTA and all that may become more relevant now. We learned some interesting things that I don't know need to go into the comment, but we learned that the traffic impact mitigation, the fund that is talked about in this article, because of the oversight previously of not including business districts, there have only been 2 contributions to the fund since its existence, and only one of those was mandatory based on the criteria in this article. The other one was voluntary. So I think, and I can look it up, I think Nick said there's what was it, Jamesley, $35,000 in there currently.
That's right. 33.
And the idea is that 33, thank you. The idea behind that is, that money could be used to make some of the changes recommended. It could also sort of be pooled to address changes that are, this is how Cheryl explains it to us, that are like cumulative from multiple different smaller projects. So like I said, that was just sort of something interesting that we learned, but I don't know that it's necessarily relevant for the comment, just because I think the main takeaways are the business, including the business districts, and including the site plan approval process, acknowledging that someone could be coming through that process and not just special permit.
So we're forcing more sites, depending on what it is, to have a traffic mitigation study. Is that the essence of this?
If they meet the criteria, then yes, there would be, in theory, there would be more projects that would be subject to this, yes.
And that criteria is mainly around the larger commercial or larger residential
Yeah.
projects that may get missed without this wording change. So you have a 141 unit apartment building going up, it might not qualify for this, so the new wording will make it so that it's caught.
Right, which is what's happening, so that's good.
Did I see someone else with their hands up?
Just get clarification. Julia, you had mentioned something about ADUs. Are there any instances where an ADU might be subject to this?
I don't think so, based on the criteria. But again, this is obviously not my area of expertise, but I wouldn't imagine based on the criteria.
Yeah, unless it qualifies, 7,500 square feet and all that kind of stuff, yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that there were no unintended consequences, and I only bring it up because you had brought up ADUs earlier.
Yeah, the idea is that if you're going through the special
Special
permit granting process, you could potentially be presenting an ADU, but if you're not meeting the other criteria that's already presented, then you fall out.
Thank you.
The only sort of outstanding question that James Lee and I have that we're still waiting on answers to from the town administrator and or the town treasurer is the fee structure that is outlined in here, which is in section 275.20.6, the mitigation payments. We confirm that these are the payments, or these are the figures that have been in there since this was originally written in 2018. And so the question that we asked was, are there any other fee structures that are currently being used in town that tie to something external, like, the consumer price index, that would allow these prices to keep up with the rate of inflation without having to go back and amend this bylaw every time we want to increase the pricing. So I have not really gotten a straight answer on that yet. James Lee and I talked about that. I don't know that that's a reason to not, pass this by any means. I think it might be more of a general town-wide thing we might want to look into. And my minimal Google searching tells me that there are towns that do tie their fees to like the CPI. So, something to maybe think about more broadly, but I don't think it needs to prevent us from having forming an opinion on the way it's written currently.
Would someone like to make a motion? We can discuss after the motion is made, but would someone like to make a motion? regarding this as is currently marked up by our new town council? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo?
All right, I'll make a motion to adopt the comments as written.
Article as,
or,
all right, as amended by
as amended
most
by town
recent
council.
town council. Okay, great, we have a motion by Andrew.
Second?
Second, okay, great. Second by Cecile. We have one remote member, so Karen, would you call a roll call vote, please?
I will. Elaine,
Yes.
James Lee,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Andrew,
Yes.
Julia,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Lee Michael,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Nicholas,
Yes.
Cecile,
Yes.
Jay.
Abstain.
The motion carries.
Okay. That did bring up one thing that I want to raise publicly. So at our last meeting, we passed 4 articles. 2 of them had recently been amended by town council. We got those in new town council. We got those amendments about 3 PM before our meeting last time. I want to clarify that when people made motions like, I move, we adopt this as written, I interpret that to mean we are adopting the article as written and amended by the new town council that we had received several hours earlier. That's mostly relevant to Article 1 and Article 2, I believe. Does anyone have any concerns or agita about that? I just want to be clear what we approved. Didn't think so, I just wanted to be very clear about it. Okay,
Who makes the judgment call about whether that's a material edit or not from them? In terms of what we voted on? I mean, I get your point that we voted on what was, currently available to us. Most of us probably didn't have a chance to read it before that. So is there some sort of level of materiality? Is there a judgment call by you or somebody else about what kind of materiality might have been applied between what we probably read in advance and what got submitted by town council at the last second?
that's a good question. I would say, I would go so far as to say that any one of you can raise that, any one of you can look at, I'm not trying to defer responsibility here, but you can look at it and say, oh man, I didn't think we were voting on that, I thought we were voting on something else. Come back to us and say, I'd like to reopen this article.
Great, thank you.
So, next article, MPIC. I'm looking at you,
You want me to
Brian.
do it? Okay. Do you wanna put it up,
Do you-
the new one
Yeah,
on
you
the
want
screen
me
since
to,
you're-
where, okay,
doing it?
and I got, yes, I have your version.
So, Grace isn't on, right?
Grace is not on, I don't think she's even on
She's
remotely
in New
now.
York. I talked about it last week, so I'll bring it up. They had a meeting last Wednesday, and they have made a number of final changes. They did add that the committee's gonna report annually to the warrant committee. And to the town meeting, they're gonna report it and include it in the town annual report. So those were added that we asked for. They are gonna meet no less than quarterly, which is something else we asked for. They made a couple, it looks like, I don't know if these were other changes, like the blue changes.
I mean, certainly those first 2 were there last time.
Oh, okay.
The one about transfer the remaining balance appropriation, I don't remember if that was there last time or
Okay.
not, but.
And that's it, and that seems to be what we asked for. And there were a couple other things we asked for, but we agreed with them that there were issues, like we asked for longer limits, but then we realized that we might discourage people from serving. There's no need for a quorum in the
Yeah.
language apparently, so I'm satisfied with this.
Yeah, we as a body discussed this a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to shut you down, I'm just saying, we discussed it a week and a half ago. I think we got to a good place. And the MPIC changed their language to
Yep.
match what we liked. So, again, we discussed this a week and a half ago. Is there any discussion now, or would someone like to make a motion?
Could we just
Sorry.
So then can we just see the additional language?
Transfer the remaining balance of the appropriation approved for the year, I guess from the old committee to the new committee.
Assuming an annual report, okay, great.
Someone like to make a motion? Brian, you're the star here.
I'll make the motion to accept it, the changes as written.
Okay.
Seconded.
All right. Motion made by Brian, seconded by Larry. Is there any discussion on the motion before us? Okay. Karen, can you do a vote?
Elaine,
Yes. Yes.
Jamesley,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Andrew,
Yes. Yes.
Julia,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Lee Michael,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Nicholas,
Yes.
Cecile,
Yes.
Jay.
Abstain.
The motion carries.
Okay. The next article in front of us is what I'll call the alcohol on town land bylaw. I'll sort of repeat myself from last week. We've gotten some input, our experts have gotten input from various people in town. The question has been raised to me, are town meeting members welcome to come and address the warrant committee in general? And in this specific case, the answer is no. The appropriate forum for town meeting members to make their public case of whatever is town meeting. But we do appreciate, I think the subcommittee on this did a excellent job of collecting information, and I have some things to say. I know y'all have some things to say. I would like, are y'all fine going first? Do you have something? I'll stop sharing my screen.
What do you have to say?
Oh, I was just gonna sort of go over some of the history and how we got here and maybe structure how this discussion might go. No, I was hoping y'all go first.
You, okay. So Nick and I spoke with various folks. We had split up who we had conversations with. I spoke with Caroline Kinsella, both a member of the Board of Health as well as Milton Coalition. And I also spoke with Joe Parlavecchio, the head of the Chamber of Commerce. Nick?
I spoke with Kevin Domrak, who's the Milton Arts Center, Caroline Kinsella, Roxanne Musto, Nick Milano, Richard Wells, a group of citizens that are interested in the article, and yeah, that was my list.
And
I should say, I think over here in the back of the room, a lot of these people that I spoke with on the concern of citizens are in the back of the room here, which is great.
And I have a draft of the comments that had a little bit of wordsmithing this morning that I can share right now. And there weren't real material changes. There was reordering of words at the beginning of
So you're saying this is like a proposed comment that we might,
which is a proposed modified comment.
okay. I didn't share your previous comment with the
Yep.
rest of the group. Okay,
And the only material change from a most recent draft is that I added a note that the Chamber of Commerce had noted that there had been a historical track record of safe and successful events held at the Milton Arts Center.
can we pause for a second? Because nobody else has seen what you
Okay.
originally said. I don't know if you two want to sort of give the overview of where you think things stand, or
Well, so
summarize who you talked to,
essentially
what you
the
learned?
conversation, series of
Jay.
conversations.
Hey Jay, it's Lee
Yes.
Michael. I feel like
Hello.
we're jumping the gun by going to the comment. Can we discuss the article first?
Yeah, yeah, the comment is sort of, I agree.
It's one and the same, which is.
This is sort of your view of the article.
The conversations that we had, Nick and I think we're on the same page that we agree that as long as there are adequate safeguards put in place and that the select board adheres to their current stance, which is that they only intend to issue a limited number of permits, which would amount to a few discrete number of events per year, that it is a reasonable, the article as written is a reasonable proposal. I know Nick had a phone call or a Zoom call on Sunday. I don't know if you want to share that conversation.
Sure, I spoke with a group of people that are, like I said, mostly in the back of the room here. Really impressive backgrounds in public health. I think they have a bunch of concerns about the article. I think the first thing that's interesting is, they view the language that they favor, which they propose to the select board, and to the extent that the select board reflected those comments in the drafted article, they definitely look at that as a compromise from their preferred position, which is just no alcohol on town land or public buildings. And I think their concern is based on public health issues of reducing exposure and influence on alcohol on youth, and that's a negative public health issue. They prefer that if this is going to move forward, they would prefer tighter guidelines than what's listed in the article today as a means to mitigate the exposure and support other public health and role modeling, and mitigate the negative influence that alcohol can have on youth and resulting public health negative effects. They're concerned, that the discretion that's provided to the select board in the article is not sufficiently strong, and they believe the article is poorly written with too much flexibility. And I think they're concerned that the flexibility won't be applied strongly. They'd prefer to have the guidelines more strictly written right from the get-go, rather than give the discretion to the Board of Selectmen. I think the Board of Selectmen believe that there is sufficient guidelines written in the article and flexibility to tailor the guidelines as the permits are issued based on the size of the event and the location of the event. And they think that that is a more appropriate application of the guidelines, and that, some of the key aspects of the protections in terms of having to have licensed bartenders and identifications of people of age or not are already explicitly written into the bylaw, and the other details are going to be left to the discretion of the board as the permits are issued. So I think those are kind of the two sides. I think in terms of the details of the article, I think the other perspective of it is the community aspect of it, whether it's the Art Center themselves, whether it's the select board, or whether it's the Chamber of Commerce. They all kind of had the same aspect of things, which in my mind, which was that the community benefits of enhanced participation, the likelihood of, in their view, that there'll be enhanced diversification of activities that are made available, and the participation of those activities, and the community bonding, and just the benefits to the community of coming together and celebrating each other and participating in the community, that's a really positive effect. They think that creating this extra flexibility with what's proposed in the bylaw will support that and have community benefit. So I think those are the two sides. It's the community benefit versus concerns about negative effects on public health. And I think those are the two sides of this issue.
And then when we think about historically what we've done with regards to things that involve regulation from the select board, I think as a committee we have opted towards defaulting towards providing different town committees or boards the flexibility to a little bit more discretion. And again, as I noted earlier, the Chamber of Commerce did note that there had been a historical track record of safely conducted events at the Milton Arts Center. And so with that in mind, it seems like a fair compromise to allow a degree of flexibility and support the article unless proven otherwise, at which point we'll just revisit the article again. And really, there are concerns that the health professionals have, and there are desires that the town wants. And ultimately, we need to let town meeting members make a decision rather rather than dictate which to support firmly in one way or the other. And so,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I didn't follow that last part.
meaning instead of hardlining one way or the other, really, we should be come to a compromise and then allow town meeting members to decide whether or not that is a reasonable compromise or.
Meaning we as a warrant committee?
You make no recommendation.
I'm just
No,
trying to
no,
follow.
no. That I have drafted recommendation.
Okay.
Okay. And
So I might add one more thing, right, which is that, you know, we did reach out to the Board of Health and the Milton Coalition, and I get to some degree they're one and the same, I know they're different. But we talked to both Caroline Kinsella, who's the health director, and Roxanne Musto, who's the chairman of the board, chairwoman of the Board of Health. And, you know, unfortunately, they're not able to provide a formal perspective on this issue because of the way their meeting schedule falls and when the warrant is gonna go to print. So I believe it's their intention to be present at town meeting, and if asked for their opinion at town meeting, I think they'll be in a position to provide that opinion, hopefully from an official perspective. But, you know, we did ask them, and I would say we might even try to lean on them to say, hey, this issue's coming up. You got like 2.5 or 3 weeks, you know, could you come together and come up with a viewpoint that feels like it would be, you know, supportive of a better input into the article and the concept and the debate, and they are unable to get those meetings organized, which I thought was, you know, I understand, but I found it to be a little bit unfortunate. But it's not like we, you know, didn't try really hard. I think between Caroline and Roxanne, they were probably called between Jay and Andrew and myself like 5 times in total. So we worked pretty hard at trying to reach out to them. So, you know, I feel good about that activity, and, you know, it's unfortunate, but that's the truth of the matter today.
there are two things that came out of that conversation. One is that the coalition falls under the auspices of the Board of Health, and that coalition can't take an official stance that the Board of Health does not itself provide. And they noted that even after the last town meeting, the original article, vote on alcohol on town land, Board of Health did not take a position even after that had happened. So it's not as if there's a time window or a time constraint that they have not had the opportunity to review it. They just have not taken an official stance on it. Now, Nick is correct in that they did not they were actually not even aware that this article, until I reached out to them initially. They are now aware, and they, as Nick mentioned, they haven't had an opportunity due to scheduling issues to meet and come to a formal official stance as a town board.
Well, do you think they'll be able to get together before town meeting?
Definitely not.
Before town meeting.
Before
yeah.
town meeting?
I think yes, before town meeting. It's
Yes, now-
unclear whether they will actually be able to get it on their agenda, though. So I don't know that they will discuss it before town meeting. So
That's surprising to hear.
It may or may not happen.
Okay, yeah,
but-
that's out of our control.
When I spoke to Caroline, she did not seem to think that they were gonna be able to schedule a meeting before town meeting.
right,
That was what she had
Okay.
told me, or at least what I had heard.
Okay.
And it conflicting schedules on their part.
Okay. I can use the power vested in me as the chair of the warrant committee to try to get a different answer, but I don't know if I'll get a different answer. Okay.
Do they meet like quarterly or something?
I
I did not ask that question.
I think you've asked the question, we've gotten the answer.
Mhm.
I don't necessarily know if it would help us to go down that rabbit hole. I'm interested that you said you have a recommendation. I just have a little bit of background to get structure. I'll repeat some of what you gave, but I'd like to share my screen. Is that okay? I think you have to stop sharing your screen.
Jay, did I hear you're gonna approach them and see if they can come in here possibly to discuss it with us?
Come in here, no, not
Or
coming, not
ask
coming
them
here,
to weigh in on it?
just, yeah. I mean,
To meet and
A warrant
vote.
committee member has sort of asked, can you have an opinion before town meeting? And the answer was probably not.
But you could,
There might be a different answer if the warrant committee chair asks. I do not know.
You sort of got that answer today too, of that email that you sent to them.
But I thought that was in reference to in the next week.
Nope, that was,
Okay.
cause they deleted when we drafted language for them
Uh-huh.
that said, will be available at town meeting to, offer views if asked. They deleted that from what they sent back to you.
You're right. You're right.
So I think it's questionable whether they'll have an official position at town meeting.
Okay.
It sounds
think
kind of
as
like
a-
they don't want to take a position and we should just move forward.
Oh.
We don't know that. We don't want to put words in their mouth.
We don't know that.
Yeah.
I don't think we should assume
Yeah.
that.
I'm sorry.
I mean, I think it
Brian
would
and
be
Larry.
beneficial I think it would be, not to tell you what to do, but maybe to ask them if they would weigh in on this.
Okay, yeah.
I think they would be beneficial.
for some time.
Oh,
Oh.
again, people remote, I'm sorry to like, just talk at us, people remote, just talk.
Well, I'll talk. Yeah, I find it hugely problematic that we are not able to get our own Board of Health to weigh in on an issue of public health. I mean, it is mind-boggling to me that they can't meet before town meeting.
I'm sorry to do this, but can I
even
interrupt?
Provide an opinion by
Julia? I'm sorry to do this, can I interrupt? I sort of, with the theme of the year of staying focused on what's in front of us, I think we have asked them for their opinion, they have not had an opinion. We are going to put in our written comments, we asked them for an opinion, they did not have an opinion. I hear what you're saying.
I am going somewhere with this, I promise.
Okay, go ahead.
So, I mean, I also, to hear that they weren't aware of this
Oh.
until the warrant committee approached them is concerning to me, given that the major criticism of the last version of this was that no public health experts were consulted. So I'm not sure where this revised version comes from, who came up with it, how they came up with it, but it continues to be problematic for me that it sounds like no public health experts were involved in the writing of this. I know the coalition cannot weigh in officially since they are under the Board of Health. So given that we don't have a recommendation from the Board of Health, the coalition cannot make an official recommendation, then I feel like the next best thing we've got here is this group of concerned citizens who are public health experts, who I thought brought some really important and thought-provoking concerns in their letter, backed by extensive references, although I'm not sure why we weren't given those exhibits with the references in them. And in my opinion, the devil's in the detail. Like, we have kicked the lighting bylaw back how many times because of the details and the execution or the lack thereof. But now we're saying, oh, we just, we leave it up to the boards. And I don't know that I agree. I think the project manager in me is immediately thinking about the execution of something like this. And I think the points that the body of concerned public health, experts who are residents of Milton, they made a lot of valid points. And I think they are, I don't know that their opinion is that we shouldn't have alcohol at all. I think they are working, they are also looking to work towards a compromise. And I think the suggestions they have given are just that. So I'm, not surprisingly, as a public health person myself, I weigh their input. I give it a lot of weight, especially in with the lack of any recommendation from our town boards who are supposed to specialize in these issues.
Thank you. Larry?
Yeah, I just have a quick clarification, like procedural. So the exhibit that you sent out this morning, was that a proposed article? I mean, this afternoon.
Which one that I sent out? I sent out several things. One was like, had a big red line with like 10 different.
Yeah.
I'll get
Okay, I'm just wondering what we're
That'll
gonna
help.
vote on tonight.
Yeah, I think that'll
Seems
help
to address
structure the
everybody's concerns.
discussion.
Yeah,
If it's okay with people, I'm gonna share a few slides that I think will help give some structure to this discussion. Sharing, gonna switch to slideshow so it looks good. Okay, it's not my best looking slides, but deal with it. So, where are we? How did we get here? It's possible not everyone in this room knows, and just want to bring everybody together. Also, I'm sort of testing out. This might be something I present at town meeting on behalf of the warrant committee. So, 8 months ago, 6 months ago, math is hard. February 2025, there was an article to propose to allow alcohol on town property. And town property meaning indoors and outdoors. There were some town meeting members got up, discussed, they cited public health concerns largely, and proposed a few amendments, including amending to restrict the alcohol to indoors and not allow it to outdoors. That amendment passed town meeting and the article passed. So when that passed in February, alcohol was allowed in town-owned buildings but not on town land. Now I'm leaving out a lot of details. It was allowed in town-owned buildings with the approval of the select board, with the approval of whoever is in charge of that building. I'm leaving out a lot of the details. I assume you have familiarity with this article. You can fill in the details on your own. The end of that was it's allowed in town buildings but not on town land. Then there was a forum, which I listened to today on the Handy Dandy podcast. That was in April. It was held, I believe, at the Milton Arts Center. It sounded like it had a good turnout, couldn't tell from the podcast. And one of the main items they talked about was the alcohol on town land issue. People got up, they spoke for it, they spoke against it. There were two public health professionals. Any errors I have in this are of course mine. I was scratching down notes while on a walk, while listening to a podcast. This is my attempt to summarize what the public health professional said. My apologies if I get it wrong. The first one said we should have some restrictions, like limit the area that the alcohol is served in, have wristbands, have identifiable cups for the alcohol, limit advertising, limit drinks to limit how many drinks you can give at one time, notify the neighbors that it's going to happen, and after it, collect the data to see, from the police, were there incidents at this event or not. So this was, I believe these two speakers are in the room. They can throw things at me if I misquote them. So that was Ms. Kofeser. Ms. Carroll's said very similar things. It should have delimited areas, should have wristbands, cups that you can identify, this is a cup of alcohol, limit advertising, limit how many drinks you can have at a time, limit the alcohol by volume percent, and limit it to adult events. So those are my notes of what they suggested. Then let's move ahead. We have a proposed article. This article officially was proposed by select board. I think unofficially someone asked earlier who wrote it. My understanding is that the town administrator wrote it. This is just what I pick up from listening to select board meetings. The town administrator wrote it, and then the select board discussed it, made maybe one or two small changes, and passed it on to us. It has 4 requirements for outdoor events, which were not in the February 2025 article. So February 2025, town meeting considered one thing, town meeting said, nope, shouldn't have that outdoors. These are changes made to that article. One is use entity possessing a caterer's license for alcohol sales. Someone asked me earlier what that meant. I thought everybody else knew. I don't know. It means, it seems to mean, I don't know, that you have some sort of training for alcohol.
Yeah, that's what it means, a licensed bartender who's been trained in tips.
Thank you.
Knows how to serve people.
Thank you. So that's 1. 2, age identifying non-transferable wristbands provided to people seeking to purchase alcoholic beverages. There's a catch there. We'll talk about that. Number 3, submit a sketch plan for the town land. And number 4, the select board may require that alcohol sales and consumption take place only in a certain location. Okay, so that's what we got. So my first question is, does that reflect what the experts suggested in that April meeting? Well, some yes and some no. And there's, there's the devil's in the details, as a member just said. But big picture, delimited areas, yes, depending on the select board. Wristbands, yes. Limit drinks to 1 at a time. That's part of having a caterer's license. You're going to do things like that.
Hey Jay,
not-
it's limited to 2 drinks at one time. It's just a limit at one time. It's not 1 drink at a time.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm being sort of sloppy with the notes I took, but there is a limit. So they took some of these suggestions that was made at the April meeting. They did not take some of the suggestions made at the April meeting. And then, where else are we? So the select board at the same time considered and I hope I'm categorizing this right. I believe it was the same residents who have public health background made a suggested article. And they said, we want these 10 things to be required for an outdoor event. And so I've broken up those 10 things and said, are they covered? You might notice I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 up here, because I wanted this page to have things that are covered, or at least partially covered by the select board article. You have to have a caterer's license. Yes. Non-transferable wristbands. They said people who seek alcoholic beverages. The select board article says purchase. I think we as a warrant committee can maybe fiddle with that wording. Purchase, obviously the intent is not just purchase, but also consume. There might be a little wording fiddling that we can do there as a.
Hey Jay,
Yes.
I researched that because I thought that was weird.
Yes.
Apparently it's assumed to be purchased at a 0 price or something like that. They really just use the word purchase. They don't ever say in mass general laws, give away alcohol or consume alcohol. They say purchase and they mean, and that can be free or an open bar, even if it says purchase.
Well, but what if my wife buys 2 drinks and she hands 1 to me? I didn't purchase it.
It was purchased by somebody else.
Yeah,
Your
but I
wife
need a
purchased it.
But you want me to have a wrist?
That's a different topic.
Yeah, that's what I think, that's what I think we're doing. Turn off my phone is buzzing. That's, I think, the issue. My wife buys 2 drinks, she hands 1 to me, I'm gonna need a wristband. Even though I didn't purchase it. The sketch plan, the proposed article from the, had more details, said it should talk about the alcohol storage, service, and consumption. The select board article didn't have detail. It said just submit a sketch plan. Okay, I'm just pointing out differences. And limited to 2 alcohol beverages at a time, that's covered by the select board article. So these are basically covered by the select board article. The next 5 are less so. There's the big issue of, and this may be the biggest issue, is do you require alcohol to be in a constrained area? The select board article said the select board will have the option of requiring alcohol to be contained in a certain area. Also, the public health experts asked, that, I'll call it a beer garden. That beer garden should not only be a contained area, people under 21 are not allowed in. The select board doesn't seem to address that. So that's a maybe. Does the select board article address that? It does to an extent. The 4 that it doesn't approach are advertising for alcohol products shall be limited to a certain area and shall have certain descriptions. The article in front of us doesn't contain that. No 1-day licenses for playgrounds and play space areas. This article doesn't address that. You have to have food and non-alcoholic beverages and provide a menu ahead of time. This article doesn't address that. Cups for alcoholic beverages should be distinguished from cups from non-alcoholic beverages. This article does not discuss that. So that's sort of the background I wanted to give, and I thought it might set up a good framework for the discussion that we're going to have. I don't know if we want to, maybe I should share that again. I don't know if we want to focus on those individual things, like, well, I'll rephrase it actually. I will say that I think, in my opinion, all of these are worth discussing, and especially if they're gonna get brought up at town meeting. If at town meeting is, I just said, the venue for town meeting members to get up and give their opinion is not here, it's town meeting. If town meeting is gonna have to address these 5 issues and decide what to do with them, we should talk about it first, and we should come to a decision of what we think is right about these, so we can give town meeting a full and complete opinion.
Even if it's not part of the proposed bylaw, we're gonna discuss what we think might come up.
Well, we want to be prepared even in the comment.
Yeah, want to be prepared.
Okay, sure.
Could be short discussion. Yeah, I think so.
When I think about playground, number 7, playground or children's play spaces.
Okay.
I would assume that the select board discretion would automatically exclude that. If it needs to be in the language, I don't think it would be problematic.
Can I pause you? I'm just trying to think of how the meeting tonight is gonna work, and I sort of wanna, like, maybe wanna go through these one at a time. Or maybe I was gonna look at you, you said you had a proposed amendment, I don't know if, or proposed,
It didn't address those
okay.
additional comments in there.
Do you want to say what your proposal is?
Well, I think we're talking about two different things. One is the comments in the article, and if we need to expand the comments in the article to address these things, then we could put either a generalized statement and consider some of the additional requests that were made and decided they were either not necessary, or we can line item by line item address the additional ones. I think it's worth having a conversation on each of those 5 before we address the comments as written, if we're gonna amend them.
I guess, I'm not thinking about comments, I'm thinking about the article, and I was thinking that we could consider any one of these 5 as an amendment. We don't have to necessarily have a motion and an amendment and a vote yes or no, but any of these
I
could
think,
be an
I'm wondering
amendment.
if I'm just wondering language wise, like Andrew keeps talking about the comment. And I think that feels like we're jumping the gun since we have not yet discussed and voted on this article. So I'm not sure how we're drafting a comment yet when we don't know what the warrant committee's
But that's
vote on
why
this article.
I said that's why I think it makes sense to discuss the items the 5 items that were not in the article itself before we go to even get into discussion about the comment.
Okay, yeah, I think we don't wanna discuss I wasn't intending to discuss the comment.
Jay, do you know that these are gonna be presented as articles?
I don't know anything.
Okay,
Nope.
you don't know.
But I
We're
do,
guessing.
we always wanna be as prepared as possible to give the warrant, give town meeting our full opinion. And if town meeting is gonna spend an hour discussing these, I don't know if they are, how much better is it for us to spend an hour discussing these? Walk up town meeting and say, hey, town meeting, we thought about these things that were raised publicly, here's what we think about them.
So I think that, when we had our training session a week or 2 ago, one of the things we talked about was trying to be aligned with Board of Selectmen where we find that to be appropriate.
Mhm.
So it's my understanding that the Select Board considered all of those provisions and has decided that that those all fall under the discretion of the Select Board as they issue the one-day licenses. And in my view, I think that's an appropriate discretion to allocate to the Select Board. And so I think we should, adopt the language that the Select Board has proposed. I think it's appropriate. I think it addresses the issues that have been raised and the concerns that have been raised. And that's what I think.
Can
I have just one, I agree with Nick here. I think it's tough to look at just these 5 because the select board would have weighed out all proposals, I would think, and they would have agreed with some and, maybe not taken up other ones. It's hard to just look at these 5 and think we're gonna go opine on these 5 without factoring into the select board already kind of made a call weighing out which ones they think are reasonable.
Elaine?
Well, to address what Ron just said, I'm pretty sure these are gonna come up because I know that at least several of the citizens who sent the letter are town meeting members who are quite likely to bring it up as they did last time. So I think we can anticipate them, and I think it's smart to anticipate them.
I agree with that, by the way.
Pardon me?
I agree with that.
Oh, great. Just to address what Nick just said, and this gets back to piggyback on what Julia said earlier, about the select board being the ones to have considered this and left out the ones that they wanted to leave out. But it does go back to the fact that Board of Public Health has not weighed in on this, and I'm not in any way trying to take away from the members of the select board, but I don't think that they are experts in public health. So given that, I would really, it concerns me that there's a sense in this letter as well, whether it's accurate or not, I do not know, but that there's a sense in this letter that this group of citizens who had put things forward to the town administrator, to the select board, and it had worked on developing things, and then it says that their hope was to work with them, and then hearing nothing further, we were surprised to learn several months later that Article 7 had been sent to the Warrant Committee. So it feels like, what kind of I don't know, collaboration was there? Was there any collaboration? Or was it simply the town administrator and the select board working on this and leaving out, the consideration of what these public health experts with some wickedly impressive credentials were saying? And I really would like to know, because you mentioned like all the things that the select board probably considered. I'd like to know what they did consider. Like what did they decide? Who else did they hear from besides these people, and how did they make their decision? Did you hear from them, any of that?
I didn't hear that
background?
detail from the conversations that I had. I understand that they had the proposed language and went through it and chose to craft the language that they've submitted in the article. And they believe that these other items are sufficiently open-ended that applying a strict policy, regardless of the size or the location of the event, is gonna potentially lead to unforeseen circumstances. And so they think having that be attached to as conditions as they issue the one-day licenses is a more appropriate way to go.
And
Go ahead.
I want to reiterate what I heard, and I'm fairly certain I heard this correctly, is that the Board of Health declined to take an official stance after the last vote. And so this is not, they forgot about it.
Yeah.
They just didn't take a stance on it.
I mean, on that note, again, I was listening to the April meeting today. So April is before May. At the April meeting, they didn't think this was gonna come up at the May meeting. They did think it was gonna come up in the June meeting. Now, the June meeting got slimmed down at the last minute, but yeah, I don't, this was discussed in a public forum in April. I don't know why they wouldn't know. Also, I would like to sort of respond to you, not directly, but I guess one thing I'm thinking is if the concern by some residents is that these 5 issues haven't been considered strongly enough, we're here tonight. I hope us tonight can consider these 5 issues in a sufficient way
With the information that we have from.
with the information we have. Now that's a little bit talking about it instead of talking about it. Brian, what's up?
Just to go back on the history of this, the prohibition of alcohol sales on town land, we didn't get that proposal. The Warrant Committee didn't get that proposal until right before, the same day, like an hour before the town meeting last year. So we had no way to prep for it or ask any questions. We just got it like that morning. That afternoon, I'm sorry. And when we asked if the Board of Health wanted to weigh in on it, their opinion, my recollection, so I don't think that was taped, that meeting, because I think it was down in the school.
Was it down in the basement?
Yeah, it was in the basement of the school, so it's not taped. But my recollection was they asked the Board of Health to comment on it, and they declined to weigh in on it, like whether or not, they declined to go ahead with the prohibition, is my recollection. They didn't want to say, no, we should prohibit this. That was their opinion.
They declined, or they didn't? like
They didn't
said,
want to
"We don't want it."
say, no, we don't want to say, no, prohibit it.
And that's a valid
I guess
stance,
That's my recollection.
And that's in line with
Yeah.
what I thought I heard in my initial call with Caroline.
Hey, Jay,
Right.
I think, yes, go on.
it's been quite a few number of minutes since I last said that we asked the Board of Health for an opinion and they didn't give it to us. So I really think we should move on from this discussion.
Yeah, yeah. One more time, I don't know if I understood you correctly, Andrew. Did you have a proposal for what we as the warrant committee recommend that is different than what the select?
No.
Oh, okay, okay.
No.
So I did misunderstand it.
They're just
So
wordsmith.
in order to focus the discussion, one thing I might propose is that we do what we did last time in this room, except for real this time. Have an article in front of us. Someone can make a motion, I think this would give some structure to the discussion. Someone can make a motion, perhaps the person will say, I move we adopt it as the select board approved, or maybe I move it, we adopt it as the select board approved, but change purchase to purchase or consume. And then we consider one by one, someone can make an amendment, or we can just talk one by one. Let's discuss this issue. What do we think about it? Should we have an amendment? Yes or no? Let's discuss the next issue. You can't see my hand gestures, but you know what I'm doing. I think that would give some structure to this discussion.
So I propose we move to adopt the language that the select board proposed.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, so it's like we did in the practice. We have a main motion in front of us. Now we can discuss that motion and discuss amendments. The first one I would throw out to the group, if this is appropriate for the chair to do, is where the select board says the wristbands say purchase alcohol, I would say purchase or consume. Let me switch to let me stop sharing and switch to the article. All right, I will share this screen. Can you see my, you cannot? Okay. Non-transferable wristbands, individuals seeking to purchase. Again, I don't know if I'm overstepping my position as chair, but if someone were to say, make an amendment to change purchase to purchase or consume.
I'll make that motion, it's fine. I'll
Okay,
make a motion to change purchase, to purchase and consume.
A
Second,
second.
okay. Do we understand what we're doing here?
yes, we
We're
do.
amending this, saying you need a wristband if you want to purchase it or consume it.
This goes to the comments, right? So I understand this. Like, we can't change the language, right? It goes in the comments,
We do change the language. So.
in the recommendation, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the article says one thing, our recommendation will be slightly different.
Got it, just being clear.
So
And-
what's the marked version you have above you?
What is this? I mean, this is what we got from,
It's the
Select
original
board.
from the select board.
Mhm.
And then the one we
Make-
got today was from the concerned citizen,
Such a
right?
yeah.
All right.
Okay, we have a motion to amend in front of us. Is there a discussion on this motion to amend?
I don't think it matters, like, I don't think it
Okay,
changes. it
yeah,
materially,
I'm just trying to do the procedure
No,
correct.
That's what I'm, yeah, I understand, that's my
Karen, can you
comment.
take a vote on the motion to amend wristbands, individuals seeking to purchase, to change it to purchase and consume?
Did you say and or?
Or, thank you,
Or.
and purchase
Okay.
or consume.
I think quick comment on it, which is consume is the only thing that we actually need to put in there. It's not legal and the bartenders would not to actually purchase alcohol, but adding both is, I think, not a problem.
Okay,
Okay.
cool. Karen, can you take a roll call vote on this amendment?
Elaine,
Yes,
Jamesy,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes,
Andrew,
Yes?
Julia,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes,
Lee Michael,
No,
Ron,
Yes.
Nicholas,
Yes.
Cecile,
yes,
Jay.
Abstain.
The motion carries.
Okay, I'd like to share my screen again. Again, I think all 5 of these issues are deserving of discussion. Come
Can we
on,
also, we can't go back to any of the, oh,
we can,
okay.
we can.
Because number 4, it is clear that the select board article has less detail on that sketch plan, and I think that the more specific one we might want to consider. Because in my experience, when there's just a recommendation that people do things or a suggestion, they don't do it. It doesn't get done.
Yeah, I will say the language of the select board's article is they shall submit a sketch plan. So,
It's not optional.
yeah, they will submit a sketch plan, just what's on it,
Right. That delineates the area for all of these things. Right.
okay?
Can
The more
I
detail.
I'm online and I'm jumping in.
Who's this? Julia? Yes, please.
Julia, yes. This, given that we are also not public health experts, I'm just, and given our previous debates, which I know remain, I'd say, unsettled, like, how much work are we supposed to put into making this, compromise between these two sort of entities that we've been hearing from? This level of sort of wordsmithing and whatever you want to call it seems like not our role to me. I mean, if anything, I would like, why wouldn't we just vote to send this back? Like, again, like we sort of did with the lighting bylaw, rather than go to these lengths as non-experts on this subject.
Wordsmithing is definitely our role based on prior experience on the warrant.
Okay, I guess I feel like this might be going beyond even wordsmithing.
Julia, if, in my opinion, if we can submit a workable article to town meeting, for town meeting to decide yes or no on, if we're actually able to do it, some things are beyond our ability. If we're able to do it, and I think we can give it a good shot, I think we owe it to town meeting to try. And this doesn't seem to me to be beyond our ability.
I just did it with the MIPC, so if we change language, maybe we can get it back to the select board and they can vote on it, who knows?
Yeah, that's a whole other issue, is
Just
would
a
the
thought.
select board agree with us or not?
I don't wanna belabor
We're not
this,
gonna get
but-
that answered before the warrant goes to print, and I'm okay with that. Okay, so Elaine raised the issue of number 4. I think some of these, like so many things in front of us, we could discuss all day, or we could discuss it really, really quickly and come to a decision. Elaine raised the issue of number 4. Is there, do we have an amendment? Would someone like to make a motion to amend?
I'd like to make a motion to amend to include the language proposed by the residents in number 4.
So when I read the select board article, it says applicant shall submit a sketch plan. And I think, yeah, so pretty much it would be,
A sketch plan for the use of town land that delineates the area of alcohol
Yeah.
storage, service,
So-
and consumption.
yeah, okay. That's a motion?
Before we get too deep into the discussion around that, I do want to comment on one thing. which
Well, there's
is-
no second, first of all. So is someone going to second that? Okay, go ahead, but I think this can be a quick discussion, one way or the other.
The obligation is to have a caterer's license. The caterer will be responsible for the alcohol storage service portions of it. The consumption is really what the sketch plan really lays out. And the select board proposal, or the article as written, says applicants shall submit a sketch plan for the use of town land as part of the application to select board. So the sketch plan meaning what is a delineated zone or area, I think.
But it doesn't say that.
I mean, it's
Well,
duplicative.
Number 4 does, right? The next part of that,
Mhm.
the next
And
I think
the
that's
select
part
board,
of their statement.
the select board may, depending on town land, require that alcohol sales and consumption take place only in a location to be designated for the purpose of the site. plan.
They don't have to.
It's a discretion of the select board about whether they think it's appropriate for the size or this,
Yeah, that's sort of a
location.
different, I wanna stay focused on this issue. What does the sketch
This
plan
is the
require?
issue.
It's the same
Because
thing.
it's in this proposed article, it's number 3 and number 4. They're one and the same. You know, they probably should just be one number, but they're not. But they one elaborates on the other, and I agree, one of the big differences is that it says may. And it's a question of whether we trust the discretion of the select board to apply that or not. I for one do. I think that's their job, and I think it gives them the flexibility to make appropriate requirements and accommodations based on the location and size of the event.
And I think that's the next topic we're gonna talk about. This is just, does this sketch plan require you to say where your alcohol is gonna be or not? I'm sorry to cut you off, but I think we're about to get
Sure.
to that option that you're talking about.
But I think
And I think we can vote.
proposed article has that covered in the second part of the proposed article.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay?
Okay,
So we have some arguments in favor of this change and some arguments against
Yeah.
this change. mean,
Yeah, I
we'll
think-
vote and see.
are people okay with going to a vote on this amendment?
To add what?
To add the,
Yeah.
to add the details about what the sketch plan
Requirements of
will
the site plan, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Okay, all right. Karen, can you call for a vote on this amendment?
Elaine,
Yes.
James Lee,
No?
Lorraine,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes,
Andrew,
No,
Julia,
Yes.
Brian,
No.
Lee Michael,
No,
Ron,
No.
Nicholas,
No.
Cecile,
Yes.
Jay.
It is not a tie, is it?
You have 5 yes, 6 no.
I will abstain.
The motion does not carry.
Okay, thank you for that, guys. Now, and I'm sorry to shut you down, Nick, I'm just trying to be.
It's fine.
So now I think we're gonna be talking about what may be the biggest issue, in my opinion. The select board option, the select board article says, let me just copy the. Whoops, shoot. Let me just put that right here so we can see the wording. Select board says the select board may, come on, may require that alcohol sales and consumption take place only at a location, for the purpose. The wording submitted by the residents said they will have, let's call it a beer garden, and people under 21 are not allowed in. So, can we discuss this issue? Thoughts?
seems unworkable to me. I mean,
Go
no,
on.
in some cases it may be workable, but in others, I mean, if an area is too small to begin with,
Okay,
to create a separate designated beer garden seems could be complicated.
okay,
So I think
go ahead.
Another thought is infants. Are people gonna leave their
Oh,
kids
yeah.
in stroller
just
outside the
put you out
zone?
here.
And we don't have specific prohibitions on tobacco use or marijuana use outdoors and not on town land. We're not restricting that. Why are we making a differentiation for alcohol?
Okay.
I think those are both great points. Sorry, it's Lee Michael. I think those are both great points, and I just wanted to say, by putting further restrictions on the select board, we may create these types of unintended consequences. So I agree with the last two speakers.
And so in the event that there is an event or a location that makes it reasonable to have that. I think giving, again, same way we give zoning boards and select board and other boards in the town flexibility and discretion, we have to trust that they're gonna make smart decisions, and if they don't, we revisit it and legislate around it, is the solution in my mind.
Couldn't we include it as may require?
It already
is.
says that.
It's already,
it does.
it's written.
That's,
May,
Oh,
depending
that's
on
what
use
great,
of town
great, great,
land,
great,
and
great.
so
Okay.
I think they've intentionally given themselves flexibility around it. And again, we're not talking about town events at every, they're not gonna issue alcohol, one-day alcohol licenses for every outdoor event. They're talking about large festival type situation.
looking around the table, other thoughts? As I said, that this, but as a subjective matter, this might be the biggest issue.
I agree with everybody, the previous three opinions. I think it becomes unworkable in
Okay.
a lot of instances that I see. And I think it's up to the select board. That's their job to approve those things.
Hey, Jay, this is
I would
Ron.
just say that I don't wanna keep,
Who's speaking? I actually can't see if somebody's hand is raised, so just talk.
Oh, go ahead, Larry.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to monopolize the discussion, but you know, I in my mind, you know, the example that I keep thinking of is the Milton Arts Center events, you know, concerts on the deck. I mean, there are other types of events that may be included here. I can't seem to think of any. I mean, I can't imagine that anything would be approved for, like, say, you know, the concerts at the gazebo or the Halloween stroll to keep everything.
Or the Milton, the Hutchison Field.
Yeah, that's not town
That's
land.
not town land.
It's not town land, however,
It's a good example.
they do get an alcohol
Big
license, correct?
discussion about the tree lighting and stuff around the holidays.
That's the thing, is that was the big discussion at
Yeah,
town meeting, so it's
that's
good to
what
bring
I-
that up, because that was the Halloween stroll and the tree lightings kept coming up.
But, yeah, sorry, go on. But then everybody I talked to says, oh, it shouldn't be there, including.
That's right, so it never got approved.
Yeah, including, you know, I had a conversation with Mr. Zoll about this. He's like, oh, no, it shouldn't be there. And I said, but that's the example everyone gives.
Yeah,
So,
The people I've spoken to also say that what they carry around in their undisclosed cups.
okay.
And
Well-
so I agree, it shouldn't be I personally don't think it should be licensed for events like that.
Yeah.
However, the reality and what we're trying to enforce are two very different things.
Yeah, and just to add to the conversation, in the conversation I had with Richard Wells, the four places they think are most likely to have outdoor events are the backyard of the Milton Arts Center, the Milton Wharf, which is, you know, getting work done on it now, and they're excited about activities there, the
Okay.
Manning Deck, and potentially the gazebo at Town Hall. Those are the four places they think are most likely to have events. So I don't know if that helps in the conversation, but just to share that perspective.
Ron, was it you that was speaking up earlier?
Yeah, I just had one quick comment. I agree with the comments that it's preferable to provide flexibility for the select board. It's a little confusing to me, the language, because I can't tell if the designated location is intended to be permanent, or would it be, you know, flexible on a, you know, use by use case. So I think the select board should have flexibility. I would think it would be great if they consulted with the Department of Public Health when they make these calls. I don't know if that's something that we need to tell them to do, but maybe that's in the comment that we would hope that there's discussion between these boards, but I don't know if we want to require that, because I do think it should be the select board's discretion if they feel they need to require designation, that they can then speak to the town, you know, officials who are experts on public health on where those should be.
Well, I think one thing to consider, and it's not the public health that would be consulted, but whichever entity, public body is responsible, as it says in the article, for the care, custody, and control of the subjected town land would also render their approval in addition to the select board. So they would be consulted. It's not the Board of Health, it's different standard, but it's another entity that would, you know, have presumably more expertise about that location and be in a position to kind of support or facilitate a discussion on that outcome.
Any other thoughts about this issue?
Sounds like we're not
Um,
gonna make a motion on it.
Well,
I'm
okay,
just gonna say, does Ron wanna make a motion about that?
No, I don't think it needs to be an amendment. I would suggest that whoever writes the comment could include that as a suggestion, unless someone else wants to make a motion and they want to propose. I don't feel that strongly. So,
and members can propose any amendment they want. I'd sort of rather us not wing it and, we do this or we do this. Not saying you have to, just saying things will go a lot smoother if we don't make up amendments on the fly. So am I hearing anyone make a motion for an amendment on this issue? I am not hearing that, so it might be appropriate to talk about the next issue on the list, which is what? Advertising, which several people mentioned at the April meeting. Does discuss, include information about alcohol by volume. Does anyone have any comments or thoughts about this?
Can I ask for some clarification on this? So it's just information about the alcohol by volume, it's not limiting it to, say, like beer and wine license only?
It's not, it's,
Okay.
this Mad Dog 2020 is 15% ABV and this
It is.
normal wine is,
How do you know that, Jay?
Because he has some.
You learn a lot of things in high school.
It's higher.
Sorry, it's serious, do we have discussions about? Again, I think all of these are worth discussing and thinking about, so I would like to hear.
My opinion is, I would say the same thing for the next 4. I think all of the discretion is selectmen. They can make that decision if they issue a one-day license. The advertising, if they wanna limit that. And I could say, talk about the playground and children, which I
I'm
don't
not
really
sure if they
understand the whole
can,
thing,
like,
but-
for number 6, I'm not sure.
Number 6,
Yeah.
I can't imagine the select board, if it wasn't explicitly required of them in the bylaw, like, I can't imagine that they would ever do that.
But that they would, or even if they could, like, if the
Yeah,
law
they-
doesn't say
yeah.
they can limit the advertising.
The other
And-
3, you're right, for sure, 7, 8, 9, but I don't.
I'm not even totally sure what advertising is it like,
Hey,
It's a
there's
sign
a
that
bar
says
in the
here's-
yeah,
corner
if it's
here.
Kelly Field and and if there is a designated area and it's way over there and you have a poster saying, adult beverages that way.
Geez, I don't know,
But
that's
this
pretty.
that proposed language doesn't allow for that. It says limited to the alcohol service area, so you could not say anywhere anything about the alcohol beer garden being in the corner of Kelly Field, or that it exists for that matter. Again, as Ron mentioned, and I would rather see the select board have the discretion to figure out what specific requirements for a specific location and event requires certain things. And in my mind, if I were on there, I might think about it very differently if the expected attendance size is 25 people versus 500 people. In which case, 500 people in the middle of Andrews Park, I would think it would make sense. It's easy to have a designated area and put in more restrictive things than at the Milton Center for the Arts, Art Center, for example.
Hey, Jay,
Yes,
it's Lee Michael. I'd like to make a motion. I move that we not make any changes to the proposed language based on items 6, 7, 8, and 9, but instead note these suggestions in a comment.
that is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, now we can discuss the motion before us. What I said earlier, I think each of these may come up at town meeting. I would like to discuss each of these now so that we are prepared to discuss it at town meeting. Numbers 7, 8, and 9. We have a motion, we have a second in front of us. Is there discussion? I would love to have discussion about, we had some discussion about 6. I would love to have discussion about 7, 8, 9, even if the discussion is, we don't, I can't force people in this committee to discuss. I have a lot of powers. I don't have that power. But I would
Well-
like to tell town meeting, we discussed each one of these.
This is
I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
somebody was saying
Julia.
something?
For number
Go ahead.
6 in particular. Yeah, this is Julia. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
I think that for number 6, it may make more sense to tease these two things out. I understand the concerns around the lack of specificity about like advertising. What does that mean? What does that entail? I think the second part is a really common sense public health measure. And I think the group of residents brought this up in their letter that, you know, people might want to or rely on having this information like the ABV for each product, especially if they are going to be driving or if they've had drinks before they got there or they plan on having drinks after they leave. So to me, that's kind of a no-brainer. And I think that would be an easy win for, you know, the public health side of this conversation. And maybe we separate out the advertising issue because I think those are different things.
I mean, I agree with Julia to some degree. I mean, I always really welcome having that information, particularly when you go to a brewery that beers, some of the beers are super high test. I just don't know if it's workable if somebody's serving mixed drinks.
I wondered that too.
Yeah, I don't know how you would do it.
I would prefer to go along with Lee Michael's suggestion with the comment that we considered these. It is within the discretion of the select board to require these on an event by event basis. And we recommend that the select board, whether it's ABV or issues that we feel really, really strongly about should be in there, we recommend, but I'm hesitant to force it into the language.
Okay, I hear you. I would put an asterisk there. We haven't discussed all these yet, so let's go through and discuss them. Any other comments about what Julia just said about the ABV? Any comments, discussions about that? Thoughts about that?
How would that actually be, if we're gonna amend that particular statement, how would that be
I'll work on the
amended?
mechanics. You leave the mechanics to me. I mean, I'll guide the warrant committee through the mechanics of amending it. Just want to know sort of your sense. Sorry, I didn't mean to shut you down. I'm
No, I
sorry.
just agree on separating, I just don't know
Okay.
how it would actually be separated.
I'll work on them. I'll guide you through the mechanics. Cecile?
Yeah, kind of echoing what Julia said, the second half of 6, like, if we leave that to the discretion of the select board, is that gonna be an additional significant burden? Because for every liquor license that they have to review, they have to then be like, oh, do we include ABV here? Do we do the description?
Okay.
Like, adding extra burden to them.
Okay, so I'm just sort of thinking about how this will go process-wise. I'm hearing some support in the room for the ABV. Can we move the discussion to number 7? Playground, play space areas.
I mean, that leaves out the town landing.
Is it? Is the town landing a play space area?
It has a play space area right now. I don't know if it will in the future. I'm sure it probably will
Okay,
in the new plans.
I know you didn't mention it, no, you mentioned them, Nick, as to one of the 4 places that were prominent, but Kelly Field, it totally leaves out Kelly Field and
Yeah.
and Andrews.
I think anything could be defined as a child's play space area.
Yeah, any grassy area, right? I mean, you could play soccer.
Yeah.
okay.
I also think a point that was brought up earlier was a good one, like what does that mean for parents with infants or, you know, young kids? And I mean, I know breweries are super popular with young families because their kids can hang out and the parents can hang out and everybody wins. So I do agree that's a trickier one for me.
Okay, so I'm hearing some sense about that, thank you. The next one, you must provide food and non-alcoholic beverages and submit the menu as part of the application. Thoughts about this?
I think that's tough to
so.
require people to serve food. I mean,
Exactly.
that's
I'd say
catering.
no.
I mean, it really would like stymie the ability for smaller groups to get together, and I don't like that part.
Yeah, me
think
too.
it's-
And I think non-alcoholic beverages make sense to provide
Oh, sure.
something.
But-
For somebody who doesn't want to drink, what are they
But they
gonna do?
don't have to drink anything at the event. The way I look
not where I
But
was
it's
gonna
either
go,
you
but-
drink alcohol or nothing, though.
But have you ever been, since you were a teenager, have you ever been to an event that only had alcohol? I have.
If they're serving alcohol, likelihood is that there are other vendors serving something. In my mind, the reason why I prefer to leave this at the discretion of the select board is that if it's a 2-hour event, I would look at it very differently than a 5-hour event with families and 500 people. And so, do I think food and non-alcoholic beverages are necessary to be served by the bartender or the event host in a 2-hour event at night in Milton Wharf? Probably not, because I don't think kids are gonna be playing at night, but that's besides the point.
I'm
Sort
not
of
talking
being.
about kids, I'm talking about people who are alcoholics and who want to participate in the event. People who just don't like alcohol and want to participate in the event. And non-alcoholic beverages would include bottled water. I mean, it's,
I don't think it's hard. I actually agree
Yeah.
with you, but I've never been to a bar or any event that didn't have
That didn't-
non-alcoholic
didn't-
beverages. I don't think that's
Okay.
a tough one. I don't know about the food though. I don't agree with that.
I don't
You
agree
know,
with it either.
I don't read that as requiring food to be served. If there's food, then the menu.
No, I
No,
read
it
it
says
as requiring
shall
food.
be
It's requiring food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Lee Michael. Can I break in? That food thing is required in some other bylaws and people get around it so easily. It's not enforceable.
No,
The way
it's
that
literally
the way that I have seen it
plate
done
of
is
crackers.
they sell chips for $1 and that's it. So that's the reason why I included it in my blanket, not making this change. It's just not doable.
Any other discussion about this? There's also, it requires the menu to be provided as part of the application. Any other discussion about this one? There seemed to be some back and forth about non-alcoholic beverages. I don't know if we've resolved that. Okay, question mark. And the final one. Cups for alcoholic beverages should be easily distinguishable from cups from non-alcoholic beverages. I'll remind you, this was both of the public health professionals who spoke in April, more than 2 of them spoke, but both of them that had a list of things, noted this as something that was desirable. Do we have thoughts about this? I have thoughts about this, but I'll let you speak. Go ahead.
Well, I think it's a great idea to be able to differentiate between them so that I don't mix my non-alcoholic and alcoholic beverages while I was consuming both. Accidentally, but I think having the wristband clearly identifies me as a potential for having an alcoholic drink. So why do I need a cup to also identify that I might have an alcoholic drink?
Is there an explanation from the public professional?
I don't think there's an explanation, but if all beverages are in red Solo cups,
That's my guess.
I hand my 18-year-old my red Solo cup and I take their red Solo cup, and who's to know?
That was at my discretion, not the town's liability, correct?
Oh, that's true. That's you serving your.
I think it's also,
I've
I
never
think
heard
it's
of this.
also, sorry, I was gonna say, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I've never even heard of this type of rule before. Has anybody
See,
else heard of this? Different cups?
So when you go someplace and they say, oh yeah, you order a beer and then they pour it into a cup and then hand you the cup.
Yeah, but
Ever had
a
that happen?
separate cup, I've never heard of this.
Separate cups for non-alcoholic.
I don't get the logic behind
It
it.
looks different. And the police officers, if there's a police officer there, they see, and I'm sorry, I've been trying to withhold my opinion earlier, but I'm sharing my opinion now. Police officer sees the person with the wristband is holding the green cup, that's cool. The person without the wristband is not holding the green cup, that's cool. I'll just say, I think this is a good one.
Yeah,
I spoke to the town administrator earlier today, and I brought up this one specifically. I said, is there a problem with this? And he said, well, one problem might be if you have one vendor serving alcohol and a totally different vendor serving the food, they have to coordinate that their cups are indistinguishable. I think that can be worked out.
yeah, they just say, yeah, you're either holding a cup for alcohol or you're holding a bottle of Poland Springs that you bought from the other guy,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
fine.
it's,
Or like a Coca-Cola or whatever, yeah.
I think this is an, I'm sharing my opinion, I'm sorry, I think this is an easy one that can be added there. What do other people think?
I agree, Jay. This to me is similar to the ABV one. Like it's, I think, easy win. And it makes a lot of sense to me just to make sure that, yeah, the drinks and the wristbands match. Whether it's because, you're worried about your 18-year-old, or as someone else brought up, like maybe you are in recovery and don't want to accidentally, take a drink out of someone's alcoholic beverage. So I think for many reasons it makes sense and is not overly burdensome.
So can we make a motion to amend
Well,
to include that?
Well,
I
we're
think-
still on
hold on a
Lee
second.
Michael's amendment.
yeah.
Oh, sure.
So one way this might go, and I'm trying to make, my job as chair is to make the process go easily. Right now, we are currently considering a motion to not amend for the last 4 items. It is in front of us as a warrant committee to vote on that. Do we approve or not approve Lee Michael's motion to not amend for any of these? If we vote that down, then we will have the option of voting as a warrant committee. Do we want to change it to put in, half of this ABV language? Do we want to change it to put in the cups language? So, trying to be an
Jay?
unbiased arbiter, yes?
I have a question for Julia. I don't understand the point about the ABV, because if people are buying beers, or they generally put items on display at a bar, for instance, and again, we're not trying to cover every conceivable scenario here, but the bottles clearly say what the alcohol by volume is if it's a bottle. If it's a keg, you generally know what you're getting. I think this is an unnecessary restriction. I don't understand why it's necessary. Julia, could you explain your position again?
Yeah, I think that, there are situations where people might feel awkward about, saying, hey, can I look at the cans of all of your options so I can decide which of them I'm going to choose, because, I already had 2 beers before I got here? Or can I see that bottle of wine while there's 10 other people lined up behind me waiting to get their drinks? Like, I just think it is removing a barrier and giving more information for people to make informed decisions with. It's like having the calories listed on a menu. Like, I think it just is remove some barriers for people to be able to make more informed decisions.
Thank you.
My
So-
thoughts on the cups is that, I just think that's unnecessary, and I've never heard of it before. And I bet it'll just get ignored in reality, my opinion. I don't think it's gonna change anything. I just think it's an unnecessary thing to put in there, my opinion.
Okay,
My
Jay,
personal
I've-
preference, again, is going back to put it in the comment that we would prefer that the select board require these things, but I don't want to over legislate or require things.
Ron, you had something to say?
Yeah, just on Brian's comment, I think because these activities are planned for families and there will be minors and adults, then it makes sense to me to have different cups. If it was just purely adults, I agree with you. Let the adults figure it out. But because they're younger participants, I do think for the enforceability, so a police officer could determine who is allowed to have an alcoholic beverage. You need to be able, a police officer is not going to go sniff or take a sip of everyone's cup, right? It's just easier for them to be able to tell which type of drink people are holding. I have a question. Lee Michael, would you consider a friendly to your
No, I wouldn't.
motion?
Ron, I appreciate the offer, but I'm not gonna. If you really want to get alcohol from a different color cup into a cup that's designated for a non-alcoholic beverage, it's just not hard to pour it in. We
agree with you, yeah,
need to legislate this. The wristband does this heavy lifting for us. That's it.
That's true.
I was gonna ask.
I have a procedure question for Lee Michael. Can we restrict ourselves? So your motion was that we not amend based on these 4 issues.
But that we put it in the comments, that's part of the motion.
But I'm sorry, but I'm asking, can we restrict ourselves and then we're not allowed to amend it? I never even wondered that before. In the sake of going home tonight, should we just like have a vote on the ABV and have a vote on the cups? I mean,
No, I'd like to take a vote on my motion, Jay.
okay.
Okay.
All right, does everyone know what we're voting? If you're voting yes, then you're saying we're not gonna make any more amendments. If you vote no, you say the warrant committee has the right to consider certainly these two amendments. Does everyone understand what we're voting?
It's not no more amendments. It's those 4 that you had listed there. We're not going to add them into the bylaw. We're gonna put them in the
Sure.
comment. I actually have something else I want to put into the bylaw in a different motion.
Okay, thank you. Does everyone understand what we're voting on?
Yes.
Is everyone prepared to vote?
Yes.
Okay, if you're voting yes, you're saying we're not gonna consider we're not gonna consider more amendments on these 4 issues. If you're voting no, we are gonna consider more amendments. Karen, can you call the roll?
Elaine,
No.
Jamesley,
No.
Lorraine,
No,
Larry,
No.
Andrew,
Yes.
Julia. I believe Julia has left. Brian,
Yes, sorry.
Lee Michael,
Yes.
Ron,
No.
Nicholas,
Yes.
Cecile,
No.
Jay.
It's not a tie, is it?
It is not a tie. You have 4
abstain.
yes, 6, okay. The motion
Okay.
does not carry. 4 yes,
All right.
6 no, 1 abstention.
So these things we've talked about, I think there may be a couple of amendments to be made. Since Julia suggested splitting this in half, I've taken a shot at writing what we might want as the amendment, which is the vendor shall post the product description, price, and ABV for each product. Would someone like to make a motion to amend?
I'll make the motion to amend.
Okay,
second.
okay. I think we've discussed this. If there's no more discussion, we can put it to a vote. This is the ABV proposed amendment. Karen, can you call roll? Karen, are you there?
Karen too has left the meeting.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. Was that
We're not allowed
Elaine?
to use the bathroom, Karen.
I may have already. Did Elaine make the amendment and Lorraine seconded?
That's correct.
Okay, all right. Now I'll call the roll. Elaine,
Yes.
Jamesley,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Andrew,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Lee Michael,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Nicholas? I may not have heard that. Nicholas?
No.
Cecile
Yes.
and Jay.
Abstain.
The motion carries.
And finally, we discussed this issue.
Discussion on that.
Would anyone like to make a motion for an amendment regarding this number 9?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to adopt that language.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we've discussed this issue. If there's no more discussion, I think we can go to a vote.
Elaine,
Yes.
Jamesley,
No.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Larry,
No.
Andrew,
No.
Who do we have next? Brian,
No.
Lee Michael,
No.
Ron,
Yes.
Nicholas,
No.
Cecile,
Yes.
Jay.
It's not a tie, is it?
It is not.
Okay, I abstain.
The motion does not carry. You had 4 yes, 6 no, and 1 abstention.
Okay. Lee Michael, you previously said you might want to make a different amendment. Would you like to speak to that?
Yeah, could you put the language of the article back up, please?
Of
There's
the
a,
select board's article, yes.
the comment that, I'm sorry, the recommendation that you're working on. Put up the recommendation, please.
That was me.
Okay.
The comment,
That was the comment.
No, that was
the recommendation, Jay's recommendation, Lee Michael?
Yeah, we have to vote on a recommendation. Can you put the recommendation up on the board, please?
well, I don't have it with all the amendments. Is that a trick question?
Oh, God. No, it's not a trick question. We just made we just made 1 amendment, right? What did you put up earlier?
Well, the thing with the box with the amendments.
Yeah.
Your PowerPoint,
The PowerPoint slide with the 3 amendments.
ABV, the.
The little box that you were just updating a second. ago
Okay.
With your little keys.
The second page of the PowerPoint.
Okay.
You change purchase or consume.
Is this what you were
Number
asking?
2.
This thing. Is that what you're saying, Lee Michael?
We should be able to see the language that we're voting on without all of these little changes that are off on the side somewhere.
Okay.
Put up the
Karen.
put up the recommendation and type in the changes as we see them so that we can say, I vote for the language as displayed.
Is that something you're able to do, Karen?
You're gonna have to give me a minute. I only have the redlined one because that was the most recent one I was given.
If we can't come up with this, then we can't have faith that we all know that we're voting on the same thing.
I agree.
So anyway, the motion that I'm gonna make once we're able to get the recommendation up on the board is age identifiable or something. Those words don't make sense. We need to remove those and just have non-transferable wristbands, because the wristbands should not be forced to say somebody's age on them.
Does someone have a comment on that?
If I have to
do.
declare my age, I'm not drinking.
I agree.
My comment is, it's clear what it means. It does not mean my wristband would say 51. It means 21-year-olds have a wristband, under 20-year-olds don't. It's clear. I've heard someone else raise
It's
this
even
issue.
clearer now, Jay. It's even clearer now.
I'm sorry, so what was the, what was your proposal?
She's got it correct
Just
on the.
remove the words age identifying?
Yep.
I mean, it should say something like non-transferable wristband shall be provided to individuals
Seeking to purchase.
above the age of
So, hold
21.
on, let me-
or something like that.
Oh,
Well,
Karen,
of
great,
legal
okay.
drinking age.
It's a student.
It's legal drinking age, it should say.
I can see what.
Karen, do we have a chat? Do you want me to? I have the language of the ABV amendment.
Yeah, but
How do I get it to you?
Michael,
Can you just email it to me quickly? I'm sorry, this has been fast and furious.
Yes.
if
Except,
we're editing live, I do agree with Brian on that statement on section 2 to actually state legal drinking age, right? Because it just says non-transferable shall be provided, that age identifying was supposed to denote legal drinking age, but it was not clear, state legal drinking age to clarify.
I mean, it is assumed that somebody that's.
We can't override state law that requires you to be 21 to buy alcohol. It's an unnecessary amendment.
Can't you?
Okay, thank you. That's what I wanted to do.
Not with that attitude, we can't. I emailed the language to you, Karen. It's going through the pipes.
Okay, this should go exactly where? Just, I've got it to paste.
Well, that's a good question. I think after number 4.
Make it for number 5.
It's number 5.
No, of course not. Sorry.
Okay, so we're looking at, except for the age identifying thing, we're looking at the article as we have made amendments to it. And Lee Michael is saying, take out, I'm sorry, I was doing too many things at once. Lee Michael, you're saying take out the words age identifying?
That's my motion, yeah.
Is there a second?
Second.
Do we need to discuss it or can we vote on it? All right, Karen, please call for a vote.
I'm sorry, are we voting on all the changes?
No, I'm
Okay.
sorry, we're
number
voting on
2.
the amendment to take out the words age identifying.
Okay,
That's what we're voting on.
I'm sorry, give me 1 minute. We have Elaine.
Yes.
Do you want to take out the words age
Modifying number
identifying?
2,
Okay,
age identifying, strike the word age.
just number
identifying.
2.
Yes.
Yeah, not the whole article.
Yes, thank you.
I'm sorry, Karen.
I already voted.
Jamesley,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Larry,
yes,
Andrew,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Lee Michael,
Yes,
Ron,
Yes.
Nicholas,
No,
Cecile,
Yes.
Jay.
Abstain.
The motion carries.
Okay, and I think we've safely exceeded the number of amendments that were in the previous 3 years' warrant committees, so good job, guys. We've discussed this quite a bit. I don't know if anyone has additional amendments to make or additional discussion. We have discussed this quite a bit.
I'll make a motion, Jay.
Well, we have a motion in front of us. The motion
is it?
is, it's this. You know, someone
it's-
moved the motion as provided by the select board, and then we've been amending that.
I didn't hear anybody. Oh, fine. Okay, who made that motion? I don't know.
That was a long time ago,
It's Andrew, I think.
so
The
that is the motion we've been amending and discussing. Is there further discussion? Are people ready to vote on the article as amended, which you see on your screen?
yes.
Okay. Karen, can you please call roll?
Sure, just for the record.
sorry.
Hold on, hold on,
Ask,
hold on.
and
Go on.
not that I'm not in favor of this, but like, you were gonna ask the Milton Board of Health, right? If they want to comment on this, should we wait on our vote, or is this, is that, should we vote on it, and then if they come up with a comment, we vote again?
I mean, all the information we have so far is that they're definitely not gonna have an opinion before, you know, the warrant goes to print.
You can reopen.
You could always reopen it,
Our two
right?
experts both reached out to them. I then reached out to them thinking, maybe I'm the warrant committee chair, maybe they'll give me a different answer. They did not give me a different answer.
I withdraw the question.
We have input from.
It's a perfectly good question.
Yeah, well, if it comes up, we'll reopen it.
Okay, all right, I think we're ready to vote. Okay, Karen, thank you. Will you call roll?
Elaine,
Yes.
Jamesley,
Yes.
Lorraine, Larry,
Yes,
Andrew,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Lee Michael,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Nicholas,
Yes.
Cecile,
Yes.
Jay,
Abstain.
Not even
the motion carries.
So, the last remaining article we have to decide before town meeting is the lighting bylaw, which not only because of the hour, but also because of, I believe tonight, the select board is discussing some feedback that they got from our experts. We're not gonna decide this tonight. I mean, you could surprise me, you could make a motion, but we're not gonna surprise this tonight. What I would ask Ron and Nick is, poor Nick, everything fell on Nick. Is there, people are zipping up their bags already, I don't know why. Is there some discussion we could have tonight that will make Monday night go smoother? That's an open question, but are there issues that you think this board needs to discuss, decide on?
I could kind of recap where we are.
Yes, thank you.
A few minutes. So when we talked about this, I think in the last two, sorry, go ahead.
For just like 1 second. Since we may have different people here on Monday voting rather than today, I mean, I personally prefer to keep votes and discussions in the same meeting.
I agree. The recap isn't gonna help the people that aren't here. They're gonna want it again on Monday.
There's a lot of people not here.
Yeah, there are a lot.
And just to keep the discussion fresh in mind, I mean, like, it's not a big deal either way, but I think it is far better to have the discussion and the vote in the same meeting, because you could have two different constituencies, have a week where you forget about things.
I guess I would phrase it this way. Are there members, you know, aside from Ron and Nick and me, I've been inserting myself into this, and Lee Michael also has expressed an interest.
Yeah,
Are
I
there,
have something I'd like to say, Jay.
okay, yeah, I was gonna say, are, you know, members that have thoughts about this, please reach out to, you know, the assigned experts, Nick and Ron. Lee Michael, what would you like to say?
As I've shared with you three, I think that 10 lux is too high. I would really like some sort of an explanation on Monday as to the difference between 2, 5, and 10 lux so that we understand what we're voting on. And also maybe a comparison to other towns to see what lux levels do they have. My research showed that most of them have 5. And so for us to be twice as high, I'd like to have a little more information on that before we vote on that.
And I think that's a useful thing for us to be discussing now, because if we meet on Monday and Lee Michael had that question and we're surprised by it, that doesn't help anybody. But if some of you have questions or concerns, you can bring them up now, you can bring them up in email to Nick and Ron. Let's get some issues out now. So thank you, Lee Michael, for raising that.
I mean, if it's the only thing that we're discussing on Monday, then yeah, I think we could probably all do a little bit of homework and, you know, really read the bylaw very closely. And come up with a sets of questions and email them to you guys ahead of time. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But are there issues now that people want to raise that, you know, we would benefit from some research in the next few days?
Are there any changes to the bylaw at all? Has anybody made any changes from
Since when?
since when it was first printed?
And that's,
The one we got,
oh,
most
okay.
recent
Draft
Oh, I
or
see.
whatever, a couple
Oh,
weeks ago.
no,
well, I will say, well, I'll say it like this. Nick and Ron shared their suggestions, and I think they included my suggestions also. Shared those with the town administrator and the select board chair, and they are discussing them tonight. So they're gonna look at our thoughts and maybe,
there might be changes for Monday.
yeah, if so, either official
recommend-
changes or some sort of feedback from the select board, I expect to come from tonight, and we
To
can.
Lee Michael's comment, I actually wouldn't think it would be a bad idea to turn the lights out and see what 10 is, what 5 is, what 15 is.
I don't know if that'll be possible,
Well, it's a thought.
and I also don't know.
Okay,
I'm not experts.
I'm not an expert.
You're right, cause you know, I'm, you know, well, I'm not gonna vote on this, but y'all are gonna vote on this really without knowing what 5 lux and 10 lux are. That's
That's a really good point.
But then again, a very wise man once told me, we're not supposed to be the experts, we're just supposed to find out from the
You're
experts.
like a weird expert on this.
Okay,
You're like a lighting nerd.
You'd be surprised, useless knowledge I've crammed in my head.
I'm really hoping Monday, there will be discussion Monday, there will be back and forth Monday. I hope we come in as prepared as we can on Monday. And that is through, people expressing their opinions to Ron and Nick. Letting us all be prepared.
Hey, Jay,
Yes,
I think it's a great question by Lee Michael. I will ask Sean O'Rourke if he can give us examples of the 2, 5, and 10. He did give us a presentation a month ago explaining his view as his own expertise. I don't know if he would call himself an expert, but he has expertise in the area. He explained why he thought a higher lux would be preferable for where we are right now. I'll ask him if he can also provide some kind of common sense examples of what 2, 5, and 10 translate to for human beings.
okay.
I don't think he needs to attend. He's used up a lot of his time for all these. So I'll ask him to just give us an email and we can share it back.
And I'm trying to remember 6 months ago, was he the one who came up with the number 10? I mean, that was the ancient Greeks, actually.
I think an earlier version of the article had a lower number, and likely for the same reason as what Lee Michael raised. But I think he recommended we have a higher number because he was worried that too low of a light could create a lot of disputes that we may not be ready for.
All right. And I would also like to editorialize that, this came up before the February town meeting, and I think there was a sense on the warrant committee at the time and throughout the town at the time that a light trespass article would be desirable, but it wasn't workable at the time. And then it came up again at the May town meeting. Again, people liked the idea, people didn't like the execution. It was gonna come up at the June town meeting, it got cut. Now it's coming up again. I hope we can work towards an acceptable article that we can put in front of town meeting. That's my hope.
Just do the alcohol on town land. If we can do that, we can do anything.
Just,
Yeah, well,
It's not
Jay,
up to us.
the article's going before town meeting, no matter what, whatever
Yeah.
it looks like, right? I mean, we don't get to choose. It's just, can we make
and
Yeah, you're right.
let me,
Go ahead.
quick research, 2 lux lighting, comparable to light from a full moon on a clear night, just enough light for the human eye to perceive shapes, minimum security lighting, some park or recreational areas at night. 5 lux lighting is still very dim but brighter than a full moon, often used for creating a low-risk, moody ambient atmosphere. Examples include a quiet residential street, footpaths or walkways, low-traffic car park areas. 10 lux lighting. This level of illumination is still very dim and often used for creating mood lighting. Is approximate the equivalent of light from a single candle located 1 meter away. Examples include average side road lighting, medium traffic car park areas, ambient light around sunset. The brightness level that triggers some light activated sensors, such as those on outdoor wall lights. And I think,
That's 10 bucks.
yeah, and so I still think we should pose that question, but I think this gives us a frame of reference and also a way to.
Yep, I found similar things today, yeah.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Okay,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much.